you're entering this stage, this age, this point in your life where you're a beginner again, where you have to learn again. You have to strain your brain to grow again. You actually don't know again. You're a beginner again. And the first thought that comes to your mind is, how am I going to get out of this spot? I know nothing about the field that I'm into. I was just in a job. I was just in a relationship. I was just in this time of my life with years piled up in my life and all the proof in this season of my life. And now I'm in the unknown. Now I'm in the tension. Now I'm in the transition. Now I'm in the wrestling, emotionally wrestling. You're in a stage where you are having to leave everything, everyone that you ever known, and you're at square zero. The first thing about this stage, and even for me, I'm a professional basketball player. I played basketball all the way since I was in the jammies, and now I'm 29. And I have the opportunity to step into what God has called me to do, to use my voice, to use my light, to speak to people all over the world, whether it's on content, whether it's obvious it's going to be content, but whether it's on IG, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on any platform. My mission is to give you permission to be yourself. And all of that being said, I know that in this time for me, there's a lot of days that are mundane. And if you're into a new stage and there's unknown, your mind is loud. Your negative voice in your head is loud and you don't know what to do. And your emotions, you spend so much time just trying to manage and regulate the way that you feel so you can actually accomplish something. And then at the end of the day, you look up, it's already 8:30. You did nothing. And then you feel unaccomplished. Then you feel ashamed that you didn't accomplish anything because before they told you where to go. They told you where to sit. They told you what to do. You told that you wanted to go and you wanted to quit, you wanted to throw a fit, but you got that check in the end of the week. And so you were okay with that. But now it's not hitting the same. And there's shame. And there's shame and there's pain and there's blame. I've talked about this before, but I know it resonates, and I'm challenging myself to make these videos every single day to get better. And that's my first message to you. In a stage in your life where you are not knowing of anything, is to say yes to everything. And it's almost counterintuitive because say yes to everything, but focus your life on building skills after something. It's like, how do you know what to say yes to? And for me, I've found that once you start saying yes and you start improving, you'll find out what you like and you'll find out what you don't like. But even when you find out what you like, there's mundane days to where your schedule is in your hands. Nobody's telling you what to do, where to go, when to wake up, when to go to bed, what to even get better at today. And it's all you. And the question becomes, how do you view you? How do you view the gift that God has given you? If you discredit that gift, you will do nothing with it. You will sit in your feelings and you will feel, and let them things feel up all on you. And it's so dangerous to do that because you're discrediting what has been placed inside of you. It's interesting. Why are we so quick to want to get out of the mundane? Why are we so quick to rush to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing? And we don't have time to reflect. I do that in my life all the time. Today, I cleaned out all my folders on my computer. And for me, it's like, bro, I got more content to put out. I put 2 clips a day, Mind Believe Podcast on IG, Kingno_ on IG. I put out content every day, like 2 a day. And so I'm like, why would I take all this time editing and clearing out everything just because I got a new hard drive and I want to put 2025? Because the way I do out my clips, I do 2023, 2024, 2025, obviously, and then I have templates to set my content in. I would like to keep that organized. That's about the only organization I have in my life. I should get better. But today, I spent a lot of time trying to organize my folders to make sure I have calm and peace of mind whenever I can upload when I'm in a jam and I'm in in public and I got to upload a video. All that to say, there's a vision that you need for your life. For me, there's a vision that I have that I know I'm going to put out a bunch of content. I have to organize beforehand. For you, what does that look like? Because if you sit there and you sit on your hands and you sit in your feelings and your thoughts and you let that voice overwhelm you, you let that voice take you under, you let that voice shake you and stop you from actually becoming you. God forbid you leave Earth as a fraction of who you were supposed to become. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. So how do me and you do us right now? The mundane moments in life, it's to ask more questions. I've been putting myself on a 40-minute timer on IG. Like I said before, I post a lot. And I find myself getting caught up in messaging back to people and doing all these different things. And I found the benefit this week of really sitting to read and sitting to write and sitting to clean. And when I clean, it's funny how when you clean the house up, you clean your head up and you can see clearly and you're sharp and you just feel like the alpha version of you. You're just sharp and witted at everything because you don't have your mind so cluttered. That's why social media is so great, but it's so dangerous, bro. It's so dangerous because you forget who you are and what you like and what your fire is on the inside. Because inherently you get molded into a way that they want you to be. And even in my head, I'm ADD and my mind believes like, oh, bro, you said that again and again and again before. Bro, I post every day. Of course, there's going to be some trickle over. And maybe I should do it well to where I have like a log line, like in cinematography or film, they have like a log line of, oh, this character A is going to do this in emotion and boom. And then I can go so it can make me creative with the way I speak and communicate and I can get better. Maybe I should do that. But until I figure out to do that, I'm going to do this. And if you like it here, hi. If you don't, bye. You got a choice. But what I'm saying here is this. In the mundane moments of your story, of your journey, what can be improved? What can be learned more about? What can be gone down? What journey can be ran down? How can you learn about you? Because there's so many facets of you, sides of you that you don't even know because you haven't placed yourself in uncomfortable situations. And for a lot of us, uncomfortable situation is just sitting here in silence. No noise, no headphones. That's uncomfortable for a lot of us. Again, for a lot of us, just sitting here. No headphones, no noise, nothing to do. Us and our thoughts. But you're running. You're getting confused and you're overwhelmed under your emotions. And that's running from you because there's a miracle in the mundane moments of your life. There's a miracle in them. And when you lean into them and you start asking yourself questions about the abilities, about the fire that you have, about what passion that you have for life and what piques your interest, you start getting curious and you're curious and you start prodding and you start getting excited and then you start enjoying your own company. Then you're like, I don't really need to go anywhere. You should, because you don't need to be a recluse. Like I said before, you don't need to be, oh, I'm introverted, I'm shy. You're going to have to break your frame. And on the other end, if you're extroverted, you're going to have to break your frame. You're not always going to be around people. And you can't always ask about their life, their life, their life. What about your life? What about your life, huh? That's what I say. I used to use that as a crutch. I say used to. I'm not perfect, but I've done some work to have time with me. And now it's almost on the opposite end. I would like more time with people because when you do content, it makes you so selfish and you're only worried about your stuff. And it's like, ew, that's not me at all, dude. It's not me. And then you put yourself in a box There's a gentleman, shout out to you. He said, usually don't like motivational content, but I know where to go when I need it. And I was like, okay, thank you. Appreciate that. And shout out to you. But in my mind, I never saw myself as motivational content. But since it worked on IG, I just kept going. But I have many facets to me, many sides of me. And even as the emotions come in my head, like, bro, you got to put this out. You got to put this out. And your numbers, you're not as much followers as you did as last week. And you got to put this out. Put this out. They'll like this. You get so chained to what people expect of you that you can't even learn about different sides of you. Again, I'm saying this for me now. Like, I have an interest for fashion. I have an interest for business. I have an interest to create safe spaces to have honest and vulnerable and open conversations. I do that with Mind Bully Podcast, but I'm not just always this rah, yeah guy. I can do that. That's me. Honestly, that's most of me. But I like interesting conversations. I'm very inquisitive. I'm a curious kid. I'm an expressive kid. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, Nigerian American, and I was always chained to my twin brother growing up, 2 sets of twins. And so I always had an eye to see who I can be, like what was my identity uniquely. Not, I'm wearing the little jumpsuit, the jumper that he wearing, or I'm having a little buzz cut that I don't want, the little low boy. Nah, let me grow out my dreads. Let me get some piercings, a nose piercing, the earring. If you're Nigerian, it can never happen. Look at me, it happened by fire or by force. And it happened only because I went to Germany. But I'm saying that because it's like, I had a conversation, now that I think about it. I was on a podcast the other day, and I had a conversation about playing overseas with somebody who played overseas. And, it's funny. Those are the real moments you get to really understand who you are for who you actually are. And you have your real encounters with Jesus Christ. For me, when you have no family, you have no friends around you, you're 9 hours away from family and friends. This was during COVID, and the most money I've ever seen, 3-story house, nice living. Rosa Bamberg was the club I went to, and it was a big money club in Germany. And the idea was, I was with the Suns, then the Suns G League, COVID happened. They weren't taking no G League players to the bubbles. I hate the Suns, never mind. But so I was blessed with the opportunity to go to Germany. And at first, it was so smooth. My first weekend, I landed my little toes. I said, hey, man, I always wanted to go to Berlin because I seen, honestly, all I knew was like the Berlin Wall and like the just the nice stuff. I just knew, the Berlin Wall, I guess it's not historically nice, but you get what I'm saying. But I just saw this international city that I wanted to travel, that I wanted to go to. And one of my teammates actually was for Berlin. And the first weekend I got there, after our workouts, I looked to the left. He happened to just be talking in Deutsch to his teammate to the right of him. And I happened to put my little ear to their conversation. Long story short, I found out they was going to Berlin. And I said, I want in. Without even knowing them, I said, I'm coming. I ended up going, staying in his house. Shout out Yoanique. I stayed in it, and there was a time where we was at this nightclub. And I'll probably tell this story on a different time, but we was at this nightclub, and long story short, it's now 5 a.m. I'm with a bunch of his friends having a blast. He's not there because he went to sleep early and went back home. And I could just remember in my head, my thoughts were just like, this is amazing. Like, I'm in a different country. I'm experiencing all these different cultures. Like, there's people from Italy, Spanish people, Puerto Ricans, just Germans, obviously, just different cultures there, Nigerians. And I'm sitting there in a section, and I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know what they're saying, but I'm having a blast. I'm having a time of my life. And I'm saying all that to say, because shortly after I got hurt, tore my hamstring, got a concussion, and everything changed. And I experienced prejudice with the coach. And long story short, I was in my room, second floor of my nice house, thinking of all the trauma that I've been through in my life. And I say trauma because when you're in a stage when you have to seek someone else, something else, to find solace, to find safety. I was seeking all these different things and I couldn't achieve in the game that got me there. And I couldn't do anything because I'm in this place 30 days away from my team because breached a contract going to another team. And I'm like, who am I outside of this game? I've been holding the pain of losing my loved ones when I was in college. I went to Texas Tech. We went to the Final Four. And that year, Valentine's Day, the Valentine's week, two of my cousins came and watched me play, and they got hit by an 18-wheeler. That week, I also was stepping into a, and sidebar before I keep going, I told a gentleman yesterday, I need to get better on my storytelling, but this is not me trying to tell a story. I'm just getting it out, because I haven't said it. I was saying I haven't said it in a while. I literally said it yesterday. But anyways, it was a week that was big for me because my cousin was coming from Boston to watch me play, to watch Baylor Bears versus Texas Tech. And one of his best friends, Makai Mason, was on Baylor Bears. And I had this girlfriend that I was stepping into the next stage with, and I was actually going to say, I love you, and tell her my love because I loved her, but I never shared it because I never seen that communicated in Nigerian household. I didn't know we weren't allowed to have girlfriends. He's like, you read your books. And then when it's time to get married, where's your wife? It's like, bro, where's the in-between? Y'all ain't teach us how to do nothing. Anyways. And so I remember just being in Germany, processing everything that I've been suppressing. I suppressed my emotions early on in life, from age 6 to 8, being sexually assaulted by older women in my life. And it made me feel insignificant. It made me feel less than. It made me feel like I was useless. I was worthless. I had no purpose in life. And so when I found basketball and I picked up this orange ball, it gave me a fighter spirit. It gave me something that gave me confidence into rooms. When I walked into rooms, I felt worthy because I had this ball. I had this community now. I had eyes on me, baked in. Instead of being a wah black dude with the pointy head, they said my head was like a triangle. I got gap teeth. Now I got a broken tooth. All that. Instead of that being the highlight of my life was actually the game. And I was becoming good and proficient at the game. Long story short, I suppressed that and I moved on and I took on the title of a leader, a hard worker, somebody that defied the odds, no offers in high school, going to a prep school, then starting, and then going to the Elite Eight, well, breaking my left foot, breaking my right foot, going from 300 pounds to 250 and becoming a leader, just doing all these things for the different teams I've played on, to a moment where I'm in the national championship game, 2019, Texas Tech, Virginia. We lost in overtime. And even from those moments, people always ask me, like yesterday I was asked, how was it? And I was really numb to it. I was numb to it because I couldn't feel anymore. I had broken up with my girlfriend. And I always say this, it's like when you're in a place where it's either to suppress your emotions or surrender to your emotions, you're struggling in between the two. And I had suppressed all my life. And after that moment to go pro, it was a quick jump. We ended the Final Four in April, and I was still dealing with an injury at that time. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get drafted. I ended up not going drafted, but I did my pro day in Las Vegas. And I'm saying all this to say, all this is through pain and suppressing my emotions. I was able to end up my first season in the G League, and it's stopping short because of COVID. I end up in Germany. And fast forward, I'm in this room, and I'm thinking about all this, and I'm processing all this, and I'm like, I've come this far to where I'm seeing the most money I've ever seen. I'm in a nice house, a nice situation, but Now I can't play the game that I love, that I've been chasing, that I've been suppressing to get to. Now what's next? And the reason I told this story, kind of rambling, but who cares? This is me sharing my heart. The reason why I said this is because there comes a point in time where you're going to have to face you. There comes a point in time where you can't run from you. There comes a point in time where the noise from the outside is not enough. It's not enough to get you over the hump that is you, the hump that is the voice chasing after you. Luckily, there's another voice chasing after you too. And when I sat in that room, I remember looking over to my phone. It was a text from my mom. And in the text message, it was a sermon. And the sermon was about the battle of the mind, your thought life, and the armor that you have to have in your life. And I remember watching that sermon and just being in tears because it was exactly what I needed to hear in the moment that I needed to hear it. I was in a breakdown moment to where the pills that I had to the side, from the concussion, from the torn hamstring, from everything, the pills that were supposed to aid me through that process, I was turning them to just feel numb to the pain, the emotional pain and the strain that I was going through. I didn't share this story, but I can go a little bit into it. I was going early morning, afternoon, at night to practice and trying to be this guy. And we have this coach that comes in, it's his first year at this big money club in Broza Bamberg. And when you come to a prestigious club, for him, it's his big break. You don't want to mess up. But when you have Americans on your team, they get paid a lot. And so if anything happens to an American, you're like, okay, he got to go. Let me bring in the next one. And since this one is injured, you will have to, if you're a bad person, you have to find your way. And the coach is like the GM too. It's problematic. But anyways, find a way basically to get this person out so we can get somebody in so I don't lose my job. Which in hindsight, it's cruel, but it makes sense. But for me, I was born young, but I wasn't born yesterday. If it didn't make sense, who cares? And I wasn't going for that. So I was in early. I was in late. And I had a conversation with him, and I was like, I'm like, what's up? Like, I'm in here early and I'm in here late. He agreed. Talking about we don't wear do-rags in Europe. We don't wear jewelry, earrings in Europe. Just basically prejudice things. All that to say, I'm in a place now to where I've broken away from that. I'm trying to look for my next team after fighting back and forth with the agents and all that stress. I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. And I'm in my room and I'm just thinking about my life. How did I come here? I look on Instagram and everybody thinks that I have it all figured out. I just had a Puma shoot. Everybody's like, man, you out there getting it, you're living the dream life. Little did they know. And it's funny, when your life, you look to other people's lives and you see the outside, the external, and you look and it seems like they have it made. There's a lot behind what they show you. And it wasn't that I was projecting anything. I wasn't posting just a Puma shoot. But it's about what's happening internally for you, for your story. What's happening internally in this moment of your life, in the mundane moment of your life, in this moment where there's a transition, a period of change, a shift in everything that you've known. I can remember waking up vividly, and I got to write more on this so I can remember those days because they were extremely formative for me. I can remember waking up in tears every day and just trying to figure things out. I was shadow boxed to keep in shape, so I'm ready for my next opportunity. I would do a lot of stock stuff and read, which I got into later on in my life, but it was a mental, emotional, spiritual battle. A battle that I could have lost if I didn't have a firm foundation. My mom sent me that message. I really dug in my heels in my faith. I was always a believer, but really is where I feel like I experienced the love of Christ for myself. And I was able to be transformed from the inside out the way I looked at things, because I didn't have to suppress, because I couldn't anymore. I wanted to surrender. I was experiencing suicidal ideation and popping the pills and thinking of all these things in my life. But I was able a fresh perspective. I was offered a fresh perspective in literally the exact same situation. I would wake up and my neighbors were still cursing me out in Deutsch because I was dribbling the ball, trying to do drills, doing anything to stay in shape. But I was sitting there laughing because there's a transformation in the mundane moments of my life. Why am I saying this right now? Who knows? But I'm saying this for you. There's one person listening that's going through a tough time that doesn't know how they will make it out. It's about the patience. It's about the persistence as well, and the persistence in calling on God who loves you, who's chasing after you. And it's the audacity and the authority you have inside of you to stand up to the voice after you. Again, I said there's two voices. There's one chasing after you. That's Jesus Christ. There's another voice chasing after you because you're a light. That's the enemy. That's Satan. That's your mind bully. Is running after you to tell you all the lies it can to steer you off the path, that try to get you to make a permanent, what is it? Situation. I don't know. A permanent solution for a temporary problem, a temporary feeling. You want to solve this problem permanently and taking your life and doing something that will end everything. Instead of calling out to your creator who loves you. Don't miss the miracle in your mundane moment. Bye.